Well, thank you so much for having me for today's Mindful Eating Fireside Chat. I'm really excited to teach you more about mindful eating and how to apply it to your everyday life. So, when we think of healthy eating, oftentimes we think of diets, we think of maybe limiting certain foods or food categories and what not to have, right? But mindful eating and what I'm about to teach you today is finding ways to honor your health and wellness without any diets necessary. And before we get into today's chat, I do want to introduce myself real quick. My name is Katie. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist. Am absolutely in love with combining both the physical side of physical fitness with nutrition. So I have my master's degree in nutrition and dietetics with nutrition education emphasis. I'm the owner of a virtual online business called Dark Blue Nutrition, and I do virtual nutrition coaching, online education in the form of YouTube. I also do online courses and stuff like that, all about debunking diet myths, mindful and intuitive eating, a non-diet approach to nutrition, and nutrition for exercise performance. And I got into nutrition after struggling with my own relationship with food as a teenager. I had a tough time as a teenager learning how to fuel my body in a healthy way without taking it to extremes. So I tended to read all of the women's health magazines, some of the diet books out there, and I was really eager to learn. But unfortunately, those healthy habits eventually turned into very unhealthy habits psychologically and physically. And taking it to the extreme led me to disordered eating habits, which eventually, long story short, I really hit a wall where I was like, okay, this is actually the opposite of health. And I really do want to make sure that I treat my body well and that I can be around for the long term, to, enjoy life and be able to express my creativity and share my gifts with the world. And I didn't want my eating disorder to consume my life. So I knew there had to be a better way to fuel my body. And that is when I found mindful eating, a more non-diet approach to nutrition, which we will talk more about. So you might be curious, what exactly does mindful eating mean? And kind of a loose definition, there's actually quite a few definitions of mindful eating out there. But one definition of mindful eating, to summarize it as a whole, is a method of eating that involves paying attention to our food, our behaviors, and our experiences with food with intention and without judgment. And so this helps us get in tune with our body's needs without dieting, which typically the standard fad diets that you'll see out there, the diet books out there, will teach us how to resist certain foods or resist cravings, resist hunger, versus lean into our body's innate hunger and fullness cues. And sometimes you'll hear mindful eating as maybe just eating distraction-free or the hunger fullness diet, but it actually includes a lot of different components to it. So it's not just that. It includes things like listening to your hunger and fullness cues, distinguishing between true hunger and non-hunger triggers for eating, engaging your senses by noticing colors, smells, sounds, textures, and flavors, coping with guilt and anxiety that may come up or arise around certain foods or food categories, and noticing the effects that food can have on your emotions, maybe how you change your eating habits when you're stressed or anxious versus when you're feeling happy or just feeling like it's a normal day. Learning how to appreciate your food more, and also eating to maintain overall health and well-being. And you might be wondering, okay, why mindful eating versus another type of diet or way of eating? Mindful eating isn't necessarily a type of diet, but just a certain style of eating. Mindful eating, some of the benefits include increasing mind-body awareness, decreasing mindless eating or binge eating, so eating without being super conscious or in the moment, kind of grazing throughout the day and not really thinking about it. Mindful eating can also help improve our relationship with food and just help our overall mental health and psychology around food and in other aspects of our life, like body image and stuff like that. Learning the nuances of hunger and fullness cues. So instead of knowing sometimes we pay attention to our hunger when it's really smacking us in the face. So for example, like if you are starving, then you really notice it, or if you're super stuffed, you notice it. But learning kind of the nuances of the in-between phases, which we will talk about more later on in this presentation. And also it can help us reduce stress around food and food choices. Some of the myths around mindful eating include that mindful eating is just about weight loss or appetite control. So while mindful eating can result in different it can result in different things like weight loss or having more of a awareness of your appetite, the whole purpose of mindful eating is not necessarily just to lose weight or just to control your appetite. It's to gain some mind-body awareness and to learn what foods you like, learn what foods fuel you the best, whether that's a banana some days or a bagel another day, and really just learning and getting in tune with what feels good to your body. Another myth about mindful eating that I hear quite a bit, and this also, if you've heard the term intuitive eating, stuff like that, sometimes they get interchanged. Some people think that this means, oh, you just eat whatever you want. It can be junk, it can be a donut with no attention to your health at all. And that's also not true. Honoring your health and choosing foods that really feel good to your body and feel good to your mind is really important. And that is most definitely a part of mindful eating and caring for your health. And the last myth that I commonly hear that I want to debunk before we get into some of the discussion about mindful eating more in depth is that you can't combine it with any other nutrition protocols. So say your doctor or dietitian recommends you to have a diabetic diet or something like that, heart healthy diet, diet for thyroid health or hormone health or otherwise. You can absolutely combine some of the principles that you learn about healthy eating with mindful eating. We'll discuss it more, but mindful eating is kind of a mix of the nutrition side and also the psychology side. So both are equally important, but you absolutely can combine it with nutrition protocol. So mindful eating, in an essence, it just takes away that focus and hyper attention to weight, calories, and macros for a more intuitive approach that you can do without having to count. It's not to say that you can never, ever, if you're curious and to see what your calories look like in a day, that you can never count calories one day or do anything like weigh in a couple times a year. It's not saying any of those things are necessarily negative, but more so that it's more important that we're paying attention to what we feel on the inside versus these external factors that can drive us to some unhealthy behaviors like potentially disordered eating, or not even that. It can be on a spectrum like just eating in a way that just takes away from enjoying life. Okay, so you might be wondering now, how can we practice mindful eating now that we know a little bit about what mindful eating is and isn't? There's a lot of components, as we mentioned, to mindful eating, but how I like to summarize it with my clients and with people that I teach around mindful eating is 3 main principles of mindful eating. Number 1 is eating distraction-free. 2, judgment-free. So without judgment on the food choices that you're making, kind of freeing your mind and your mental health of feeling guilt and shame around certain foods. And eating with intention. So we mentioned that having your health in mind is a very important piece of the puzzle. We're not just asking to eat Pop-Tarts all day or donuts all day. We're asking to really engage with our senses and think, okay, what fuels me best? If I'm working out today, if I'm doing CrossFit or I'm lifting weights today, what's going to fuel my body for that workout or fuel it after that workout? And then number 4 is appetite awareness. So this is one that is a very, very big component of mindful eating as well. And we'll dive pretty deep into this one in later slides. But appetite awareness essentially means you're getting more in tune with your hunger and fullness cues. All right, so principle number 1 of eating distraction-free. I think this is one that we can probably all relate to with kind of feeling distracted in this day and age and with everything that we have going on, especially electronics, I notice are the biggest culprits of kind of eating in this distracted mindset. So text messages, social media, watching TV while eating, Also, if you're going the more old school route, newspaper or reading a book while you're eating your food or snack, that can all play into how distracted and or how engaged we are in our meal. And this can be much easier said than done, but it's not to say that you should or won't ever have these distractions in your life if you're a mindful eater. Absolutely not. Again, no guilt and shame for having some of these things be a part of your life, but more so that we want to stay conscious and aware of how these things may impact our eating habits and how they may be kind of leading to less engagement of our senses. And another thing that we commonly can overlook with distraction-free eating and this piece of the puzzle of mindful eating is emotions. So it's not just physical objects that can distract us. Also, people can distract us, not just physical things external of us. It can also be emotional. So stress, are you feeling stressed at work? Are you feeling like that project that's maybe overdue or that's looming, that has a looming deadline is causing some anxiety over you, and that maybe either ramps up eating more foods or sometimes it can cause us to lose our appetite. So it can come in all different forms, not always eating more, not always eating less. It can be on a spectrum. Another thing is grief, anxiety, depression, even positive emotions can cause us to eat more than we might. So maybe it's a celebration and we're thinking, hey, I'm not going to have cake in a long time. That can be even a positive emotion that can distract us from fueling based on what we feel our body needs versus these external factors. So we kind of mentioned a little bit about, maybe how we can alleviate some of these distractions, but putting away electronics and other distractions during meals, or maybe my favorite thing is putting your phone on do not disturb mode. That is great for really staying attuned. This is another one of my favorites because I tend to get, anxiety or stress about certain things. And writing a to-do list before your meal, say it's dinner time and you can't get out of the work mindset. Writing down on a Post-it note your to-do list, or even on a notebook if it's longer, and putting it aside and say, okay, now it's dinner time. I'm going to focus on my to-do list after dinner. And then regularly integrating ways to reduce stress throughout the day is a good way to alleviate some of those stress, depression, anxiety, some of those factors that can make us eat with a distracted mind. Next up is eating judgment-free. So in other words, practicing non-judgmental awareness with food. Now, this one can be kind of tough because sometimes we can not even think that we're maybe guilty of talking negatively to ourselves, but sometimes this can be a very unconscious thing that happens. And again, it can be just like anything else, it can be on a spectrum. So notice and get curious about anything that you may feel is unhelpful around food, like thought-wise around food. So I like to give this example, like I totally wrecked my progress. I cannot believe that I had 2 slices of pizza instead of my usual 2. So maybe in that sense, you're judging that you ate a larger quantity, or sometimes maybe you'll judge yourself for eating a specific food instead of another. So I can't believe I had a sandwich instead of my usual salad or something like that. And a couple questions that I encourage you to ask yourself when these thoughts come up is getting curious. So instead of judging yourself, say, how are my eating habits earlier on in the day? Maybe, did I actually wreck my progress with having 3 or 4 slices of pizza? Or is this just a small moment in the big picture of my eating when, typically I do eat healthier, I do honor my health, but this moment is just a small little blip in the big picture. And overall, how can I reframe this? When we think of the pizza example, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I totally wrecked my progress with these 2 pizzas. We can kind of think of that as using more of our emotional mind that's kind of taking the reins or in the driver's seat of our thoughts. Whereas when we take a deep breath and then think to stay objective and neutral, then we're focusing more on what actually happened. So what actually happened? Did I eat this because, maybe I didn't get enough of my usual midday snack? Or maybe I ate this because, I've been really craving pizza and it just felt good to me in the moment. no matter what it is, staying as objective as possible and just reflecting is really important. And remember, no matter what, even if, say, you did make a mistake or you had you binge ate or something like that, remember, it's not failure, it's just feedback. All the things that happen with our eating patterns or even our exercise patterns is just something that we can use as a thing to reflect on to improve in the future if that's your goal, or maintain. Whatever your goal is, it's so important that it's viewed as feedback. And then tip number 3, or point number 3 for the principles of mindful eating, is eating with intention. So as we said, eating with our health and nutrition in mind is so, so important. And again, we could fill up definitely a whole hour and certainly a whole day with it too. But eating with intention, if I had to summarize it and sum it down to a few key points, is that with mindful eating, we want to think from a all foods fit perspective, which really can sound counterintuitive, especially coming from a dietitian, nutritionist. And I understand that sometimes people can take this as, oh, that means I just eat whatever I want with no care to my health. But sometimes when we limit foods, it actually drives us to crave it more, and it can cause more of an unhealthy balance and unhealthy relationship with food in the long term. So all foods fit approach means that no foods are off limits, and that you can have that piece of chocolate, you can have the pizza or the taco or whatever it is, but also have things like fruits, veggies, whole grains, protein, stuff like that to fuel your body. And eating the rainbow. So we're thinking of ways to fuel our nutrition without thinking of the numbers, the macros, or anything like that. You don't have to calculate anything to eat a healthy diet. So eating the rainbow could look like the oranges and apples in the picture, having different colored vegetables at your meals, having a really colorful plate, and with that, eating a balance of macronutrients. So I teach the plate method to my clients. So kind of splitting your plate up into half fruits and veggies, a fourth protein, and a fourth of starchy carbs, like maybe rice and whole grain stuff, other things like that. Having that balance of macronutrients, again, without really needing to calculate anything. You're kind of using your eye and using your intuition to fuel your body and fill up your plate. And another piece of the eating with intention puzzle is listening to and honoring our cravings. So we kind of mentioned that with the all foods fit approach, but sometimes we can be taught, instead of having that piece of chocolate, have an apple or an orange. And in some cases, if you really feel like, hey, maybe my body needs that orange instead right now, that's totally fine. But if it's truly a moment where you just, you haven't had chocolate in a while and your body is truly craving it, having that chocolate without the guilt and the judgment, like we mentioned in the previous slides, is important, because it helps that body trust, and it helps our body know that, hey, when we are craving something, we tend to allow ourselves that space to have it. And that ironically keeps us from binge eating habits and other things that we might not want in our typical eating habits. So we kind of mentioned that actively restricting or avoiding foods or a food category like, say, carbs, can actually lead to that restrict binge cycle where you tend to have it more. So the point and the whole purpose probably of maybe restricting that food or going on that diet is to fuel your body well and to have an overall healthy diet. But when we get ourselves in this cycle, it can do the opposite of what we actually intend to do. Another thing that can happen with restricting a certain food, so say, again, we'll throw out the low carb diet or the no carb diet, is when we say, okay, starting tomorrow, I'm going to no longer have carbs, or I'm going to have extremely restrict my carbs. We tend to have that Last Supper effect where we're saying, okay, since this is the last time I'm going to eat this, I might as well enjoy it while I can. And that's not anything wrong with you or your mindset. I think that's just a primal response that we have when we know that there's going to be restriction and famine in the future. That's our primal ancestors would do the exact same thing. So you think, okay, I'm not going to have this for a while, so I better stock up. And then you tend to binge eat carbs the night before and then get in that cycle of restricting and binging. So that is overall kind of the summarization of why mindful eating includes that all foods a fit approach. I know it can be so seemingly counterintuitive, but it really does help not only with our mindset around food, it can help us actively eat better when we have a better mindset around food and we have a less of a restrictive mindset around food. And then next up, we have appetite awareness, which can be a really, really big piece of the puzzle because sometimes this is what we can get really disconnected with. We are all mindful eaters at heart. We are all born as mindful eaters as babies and toddlers and stuff like that. But we kind of learn how to restrict, and that can mess with our appetite awareness. We also live busy lives. So that can also mess with some of our appetite awareness. So appetite awareness is pretty much how it sounds. It's growing an awareness of your hunger and fullness cues around food. And there's several different ways that you can get reattuned with your own awareness of hunger and fullness. One of my favorite ones is keeping a photo food log, and you can do this temporarily or long term. It doesn't really matter, whatever feels best to you. My favorite app is actually a free app called See How You Eat. Essentially, it's just a couple squares, kind of like what's shown here, except on each square for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then snacks, you can just snap a photo of what you ate and write some notes around that, which is really cool and a good way to easily just be able to observe what happened with food. So maybe if you say you binge eat at dinner, or you eat more than you intend to, or not the way that you wanted to at dinner, you can look at your logs earlier on in the day and just say, okay, I just had a protein bar for lunch and I didn't really make time to eat. And that explains why maybe I ate more here. So the next day, I'm going to actually set aside 30 minutes to eat my lunch and enjoy it so I can avoid that in the future. So again, that objectiveness and that neutralness around your habits, but self-correcting and doing what you feel is best for your body moving forward. And then another way that you can gain more appetite awareness, and you can do this with your photo food log or anything, and you can also do it in a notebook or anything like that, is rating your hunger on a scale of 1 to 10, both before and after your meals. So this, again, helps you get more attuned to what is your hunger, and would you call it a 10 or would you call it a 8? And that kind of is okay, it gets you in that mindset of looking in and seeing what your body is telling you. And a couple components of appetite awareness to keep in mind is that regular and consistent meals are absolutely essential if you want to have more of that sense of what your hunger and fullness are telling you. Because it's really hard when we go, say, 5, 6, 7 hours without eating to know and to be able to listen to and honor our hunger. Because you probably had it happen before. You skip your midday snack and then you go home and grab the very first thing in your fridge. Versus if you have a snack midday and then you go into your fridge, you're probably more likely to be okay, I'm going to choose this healthier option, or I'm going to choose, with the best of my ability, a healthy dinner or something like that. So it really helps us think with the most logical, sensible brain versus the primal brain that's okay, I am just going to eat whatever I can find because I haven't had food in a long time. So it can disconnect us from our true cues. So just when I say consistent, I'm thinking every 3 to 4 hours or so, check in, at very least check in with your body and see, okay, am I hungry? Do I need a snack? Do I need a meal? Stuff like that. And this kind of goes with hunger and fullness cue gauging, but a pro tip would be to wine taste your food. So when you go to a wine tasting and you're really just in the moment and getting the mouthfeel of that wine, you're really seeing all the tones of what that wine tastes like. That's what I want you to think of mindful eating. And it doesn't have to be weird. It doesn't have to be eating slowly or anything like that, super slowly, but just getting in the moment with your food and really appreciating it can help you slow down and be able to stay more attuned to your hunger and fullness. So I want to challenge you, if you're up for it, that one day this week, you do the hunger and fullness appetite awareness challenge. So get out a notebook or anything, or you can do it in the notes app of your phone or the app that I mentioned, See How You Eat. And before each meal and snack for one day this week, Gauge your hunger on a scale of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10 or whatever feels best for you. So 10 being outrageously full, and then 0 being you're really irritable, lightheaded, you can't focus, you just absolutely have those huge hunger pangs in your stomach. And you can also, if you want to do a bonus with it, write down any other relevant thoughts, emotions, distractions that came up. Because again, we're just aiming to learn more about some of the patterns that go on in our day. Maybe you often skip lunch and you want to avoid that. Then it's just learning and observing some of the things that often come up in our way of eating.
All right, guys. So just to recap, in this training, you learned how to practice the core principles of mindful eating, including eating distraction-free, eating without judgment, eating with intention, aka with your health in mind, and appetite awareness, aka relearning and honoring hunger and fullness cues. So now that you're all equipped with these strategies to apply into your everyday life, can I ask you something? Why did you really show up for this mindful eating training? I'm going to take a wild guess here and say that it's probably because of one of these reasons. You want to ditch unsustainable, restrictive 1,200 calorie diets that leave you feeling hungry and unsatisfied. You're looking to improve your health, your workouts, and boost confidence without wasting a bunch of time, energy, and money on meal plans and fad diets that leave you preoccupied and stressed about food all day long. You're ready to take massive action and achieve better results with your nutrition and fitness goals so you can honor your health while living up to your fullest potential and really giving your all to all the areas that matter to you most in life. In other words, healthy eating is a part of your life, but it doesn't take up and consume every aspect of your life and your day to an unhealthy degree. Let me know if this sounds like you and give me a hell yeah if it resonates. If restrictive diets worked, the industry would not profit and depend on their consumers and customers staying stuck in the diet cycle. They really thrive and profit off of the fact that diets aren't sustainable and you'll be back spending money with them next summer. It's so silly, and as your dietitian, I think you deserve so much better. It's time for a new proven strategy that actually works. And you might think, okay, Katie, this strategy worked for you, but how do I know if it's going to work for me? Trust me, I am not special. I'm not a unicorn. And transforming your own relationship with food and your body can really truly happen for anyone. If I can do it, anyone else can. And I'm going to teach you how you can apply and practice mindful eating in your own way so you can heal your own relationship with food and finally feel the food freedom that you've always wanted. When I was at my lowest point of dieting and disordered eating, I thought that the only way that I was really going to feel good in my body was to restrict and diet and work out for hours and hours every single day. But as you've learned in today's lesson, that's not the way it has to be for a truly sustainable and healthy lifestyle. All right, so at this point, you've got a few options. You can continue down the hard way, or you can take the easy route so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did when I started my health journey and that so many other people make in their own health journeys. You can walk down a step-by-step path to success, stellar confidence, increased strength and muscle gains, reaching all of your fitness goals, all with a healthy and balanced mindset using a proven solution. So while nothing happens overnight, I promise that I will take you down the fast track to success without having to ever diet again. And yes, you can do this all on your own, but how much time, money, and Google searching will it take to do this all by yourself? And how much is it really worth if you could have all that time back and have the exact tools to make changes starting today? I know what I would do if I had to do it all over again. You guys, I am super pumped to invite you to the Mindful Muscles Academy. The Mindful Muscles Academy is your step-by-step guide to fueling a fit and active lifestyle without fad diets or calorie counting, using mindful eating and a gentle nutrition approach. Here is exactly what's included in the course. You will get 5 modules of video trainings, worksheets, and journal prompts to help you apply everything that you'll learn in the course, 6 weeks of fitness-focused meal plans and grocery lists, and we also included some bonuses, which we'll get to in just a second. Module 1 is all about mastering healthy habits. You'll learn all about manifesting the right mindset that will ultimately lead you to attracting success into your life and your healthy eating habits. You'll also learn how to track habits instead of arbitrary numbers like the scale and calories, which can be really unhelpful long term. We'll also dive into how to set productive goals so you're always staying motivated and ready to tackle the next week. This module comes with plenty of helpful worksheets to help you map out the road to success with all of your health, fitness, and wellness goals. Module 2 is mastering your mindful eating skills. So notice that modules 1 and 2 are not exactly just getting into the nitty-gritty nutrition just yet. We focus on helping you really solidify your foundation before getting into the nutrition strategies and tips, because nutrition without solid mindset and habits is just not going to be something that's easy to sustain long term. In Module 2, you'll learn how to reduce emotional eating, how to develop radical compassion for yourself while incorporating all types of foods, and how to measure success beyond the scale. Module 3 is all about functional nutrition for fitness, muscle building, and exercise performance. So here is where we start to talk about all of the ways that you can improve your exercise performance and body composition goals using tangible nutrition strategies. Module 4 is the gentle nutrition module. Here is where we talk about how to build a balanced plate and what you should know about each macro group, carbs, fat, and protein in order to fuel a healthy and active lifestyle. We also talk about common myths to watch out for in your health and nutrition journey and how to arm yourself with knowledge about nutrition without letting it run your life. And finally, Module 5 teaches you how to sustain healthy habits for the long run and how to reset and establish goals if you ever find yourself falling off your normal routine. We'll talk about how to build a solid community of supporters and how to troubleshoot and get back on track when you feel misaligned from the path to your goals. With this course, you not only get 5 modules of video lessons from me, you'll also get exclusive access to our Mindful Muscles Facebook group, special discount codes for my workout bundles, including my strength training and yoga bundles, meditation bundles that are soon to come, and any other nutrition courses or products. With each module, you'll also get worksheets, journal prompts, and cheat sheets to help you apply what you learn so you can actually use it in your everyday life. And one of my favorite parts of the Mindful Muscles Academy bonuses is the Mindful Muscles Academy ebook and 6 weeks of meal plans and grocery lists to help you fuel your workouts better using easy recipes that are both delicious and designed to help fuel muscle growth and energy. Once you complete the online course, including applying what you've learned from the activities, worksheets, group check-ins, and everything else in the course, you can expect to have the following: tangible and functional nutrition strategies to apply and use to fuel your workouts better, and how to fuel pre and post workout and everywhere in between for maximum energy and maximum digestive comfort. An established routine for your healthy habits, one that you can tweak and adjust and grow as you excel in your health and fitness goals. And you can expect to have a plan for incorporating everything that you've learned about mindfulness, food, and fitness for a lifetime. So you never ever have to do a 1,200 calorie diet ever again. And you can expect to be rocking your health, wellness, and fitness goals, gaining muscle tone, feeling sexy and confident without having to overthink and stress about your nutrition. If you're still not sure if a mindful eating approach is right for you, let's hear from some of our students who have taken the course and applied some of the concepts firsthand. Shay says, MMA is perfect for anyone looking to practice mindful eating, wellness, strength building, and who doesn't want it to feel complicated. I am so grateful for this program and the opportunity it provided me to improve my relationship with food, fitness, and the kindness that I show myself. Another student of ours, Carrie, says, there was a point in my life where I felt overwhelmed and consumed by diet culture and the mass amount of information out there on the internet. When I found Dark Blue Nutrition, it was more of a blessing than I could have ever imagined. Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking, all right, tell me, what's the investment? For all 5 modules, including recorded lessons from me, your registered dietitian, access to all future updates and additions to the Mindful Muscles Academy program and curriculum, the exclusive MMA Facebook group, journal prompts and templates that you can use to apply mindful eating into your life, worksheets, cheat sheets, and bonus content, and lifetime access, including all future updates and additions to the course, which, trust me, we will be adding some amazing stuff, so you won't want to miss it. The estimated value for this course, when applied and put to practice, is over $1,887. And normally, if you click on the Mindful Muscles Academy sales page on my website or on social media, you will find it priced at $397. But I did say that I'd offer you a special little gift if you stayed until the end of this training. So for the next few days, you can enroll in MMA for $297. This is $100 off the original price of the course for, again, lifetime access to the course and lifetime access to all future additions to the course. Let me tell you, there's already so much value packed in this course, but over time, I'm going to continue to build on it. So this price is going to go up over time, and you're going to be able to continue to reap the benefits of this low-cost nutrition course over the years and years to come. I wanted to make sure that you got a special deal because I really want to see you succeed in your health and fitness goals without getting consumed with all the diet BS out there. And hey, even at this steal of a price, I know that this course is truly an investment, so I do want to offer a payment plan option if you want to enroll at a more flexible rate. So with that, you have the option to pay in full at $297 with a discount of $100 off the full course, or you can choose our payment plan option, which is also at a special promotional price of 3 monthly payments of $115. Our typical price for the monthly payment plan is 3 payments of $147. So that is still a pretty huge deal. With the 3 monthly payments, of course, you do pay a little more than the one-time payment, but this is just for those of you who need that extra flexibility in the form of a payment plan. When you're ready to enroll, just click the button below this video to access your special promotional offer. Right below this video, you will find the Enroll Now button, and you can scroll down a little further to find the special promotional offer in the payment plan form as well. I do want to be ultra transparent that due to the digital nature of this course, I cannot offer any refunds. So while I'm really pumped to have you join the course and get you started with mindful eating, I don't want you to make any decision with haste. So that's why I want to give you a couple days to jump on this deal and really think about it and consider it. Okay, just to reiterate, you have 3 days to enroll in the Mindful Muscles Academy at the price of $297. When you enroll, you'll need to set up a Teachable account or log into a Teachable account that you already have if you already have an existing username. You'll enter your payment info into Teachable, and as soon as you pay, you'll have instant access to the course. All right, and before we wrap up, I just want to share a few common questions about the course in case you're still kind of on the fence or just curious about more details of the course. Common question number 1 is, I know this course caters to mindful eating for an active lifestyle. Do I need to be an athlete in order to join this course? The answer is absolutely not. So I wouldn't even call myself an athlete per se, even as a personal trainer and having those certifications. I just kind of consider myself a fitness lover, and that's kind of what I consider a lot of the amazing people in my community to be as well. Not necessarily athletes, quote unquote, but it depends on how you define it. So you don't have to be an athlete. This course is for anyone who's looking to have more energy and more results in their fitness goals and body comp goals. You can also be an athlete, a CrossFitter, a personal trainer, a yoga instructor, but you really don't have to have any of those things in your background. It's really just for anyone who loves fitness and wants to be more active and wants to learn how to fuel that lifestyle without a diet. Even if you're brand new to exercise, I think this course will absolutely benefit you tremendously. Another common question that I get is, does this course help with weight loss? And that is a wonderful question. So while this course doesn't necessarily focus on weight loss is a possible outcome from applying some of the principles that you learn in this course. So it really depends entirely on your starting point and whether you may have been meeting your energy needs, under-consuming or over-consuming prior to the course. For example, if you're under eating prior to the course, then weight gain is possible because you're gaining more muscle mass than you were before learning what you did in the course. The purpose of the Mindful Muscles Academy is to help you achieve a healthy metabolism, healthy hormones, and have more energy and better exercise performance. And weight can often be an unhelpful distraction to achieving these things, and it can really hinder our ability to heal our relationship with food. So that's why we aim for a more weight neutral approach. And while body composition can be a natural secondary change as a part of your health journey, we teach to focus not only on those external factors, but also on internal ones to help you really gain success long term. Common question number 3 is, will I be taught what to eat / what not to eat? Maybe you really like to have that structure. Okay, so this course is not a rigid diet, but trust me, I feel you on needing a little structure. I think anyone who's probably watching this video right now can relate to that. In this course, you will have tangible guidelines to follow to help you fuel your fitness goals and to practice mindful eating. That said, these guidelines can be catered to your specific needs, so it is designed to be flexible and not rigid. Remember that we also talked about the 6-week meal plan within the course. You have the option to use that as flexibly as you would like, or not at all if that doesn't interest you whatsoever. In the Mindful Muscles Academy, I'll help you incorporate mindful eating strategies so everything that you learn in the Mindful Muscles Academy can be practiced through a really gentle and flexible lens. That is the common theme that you will see in this course. So if you have any questions that I did not answer in this webinar, you can send me an email to darkbluenutrition@gmail.com and just title the message MMA question or Mindful Muscles Academy question or anything like that. Be sure to stay connected with me on social media. I am most active on YouTube and Instagram, and I'm starting to get a little more active on TikTok, so I will catch you there as well. I hope you enjoyed this free training today, and I'm really excited to see you in the Mindful Muscles Academy program whenever you're ready to enroll. Sending lots of love, and I will see you soon.